States of America.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the public portion, anyone wishing to address the board will do so. Please state your name and address for the record. Anyone wishing to address the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the regular scheduled agenda. Minutes for approval, we have 1-1, the Board of Aldermen special meeting on November 1, and the Board of Aldermen special organizational meeting on November 16th, 2021.
Move to waive the reading and approve the following meeting minutes. The Board of Aldermen special meeting on November 10th, 2021. November 16th, 2021. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We have item number, there are no for 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3. I have no report, but plenty to say in this meeting. John, do you have?
I just want to make a comment. I want to welcome our newly elected members in Ward 1, Porter McKinnon, in Ward 2, Michelle Lilac, and in Ward 4, Lorenzo Durante. Thank you all for putting yourselves in harm's way and agreeing with the people of the city of Shelton. Thank you.
Is there a second board meeting? Do we have to do the special organizational meeting? Approve that also?
No, we approved both of them in one motion. Okay, this takes us to item number 6, is the legal report. Corporation Council billing.
No billing this month.
Okay, item 6.2 is Assistant Corporation Council billing.
Move to authorize a total payment $109.50 to Assistant Corporation Counsel Thomas Galvin Cotter for services rendered per statements dated December 1st, 2020. The funds to come from the legal fees account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, there are no items on number 7 and no items on financial business old. Number 8 takes us to financial business new. 9.1 is December statutory refunds.
Move for that the report of the tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for the total amount of $18,488.39 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with the certified list received from the tax collector with funds to come from the statutory refunds account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Pretty much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Jack Basher, are you on the line?
I am.
Okay, we're going to item 9.2, the merit system wage reviews. Why don't we put the motion on the floor, and then Jack, you can give a quick explanation.
Move to increase the total compensation for non-union merit system employees by an amount not to exceed $48,000, which is allocated pursuant to section 5.6 of the merit system and personnel rules, retroactively to July 1st, 2021. Further, move to amend the merit system salary schedule for non-union employees by an increase of 2% to the minimum and maximum rates for all classes effective July 1, 2021.
Second.
Motion is. Before we get into discussion, Jack, you want to give everyone a quick overview of what this is all about?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, non-union employees, full-time employees of the city are under the merit system ordinance. Each year we do a analysis of not only other town increases, but we also take a look at the cost of living increases. So I've given you a memo proposing that there be a 2% increase in the grid for all grades, and that the board authorized $47,000 to fund any increases for non-union employees that the mayor will determine based on merit.
Okay, let me see, there was one thing I was thinking that you probably should cover. This is done annually. And this is done based on the cost of living increase index.
That's correct. And it's done annually pursuant to the ordinance, section 5.6 of the ordinance.
Okay, we'll go into discussion at this point. Any questions?
For the benefit of this 5.6 of the merit system, section 5.6 goes into detail on how this is to be done. And Jack gets a little nervous when I verify what he's done by checking every. I assure you that the calculations are accurate and that they are in conformance with the ordinance.
And I can assure you, if you're not retired, you won't have the time to do this. Okay, is there any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries unanimously. Okay, this takes us to item 9.3, the funding for the repair of administrative vehicles.
Move to authorize an amount of $23,000 for the repair of administrative vehicles with funding to come from contingency general account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Before we get into discussion, let me give you a little background as to how we got here. This is an absolute first for us. About 3-4 years ago, we determined that we would try to buy used vehicles for the administrative people at the police department. It's not uncommon in the country for these vehicles and refurbish them in some form or another. Well, we thought that we were getting a completely refurbished vehicles. Actually, there were 3 of them. There are 2017s and one is a 2018, relatively low mileage on them. We picked them up in error, I must say, and much to my dismay, found out that these vehicles were defective. So at that point in time, Corporation Counsel and myself discussed the possibility of legal action against this company, which we bought these vehicles from in New Jersey, because that's where they came from. And so with that said, the pandemic struck and everything was shut down. So for the for the last 2 years, we weren't able to do anything legally, but we did get title from these people. And it's our belief, when they pass a title to you, they do that in good faith and that the vehicles are not defective in any shape or form. And that was not the case. Apparently these vehicles and the frames were compromised. So after these vehicles had sat around for 3 years down at the city yard, I decided that we should try to make an attempt to get them repaired. We did get them repaired, dollar amount that repairs all 3 of them. I did get a letter of certification from the body shop that is certified through the state of Connecticut as a repair shop. He certifies that these vehicles meet the factory standard in terms of safety. These were pursuit rated vehicles for the police department. So we decided that rather than go back down that road again for pursuit rated, that we purposes, which is a much less intense use. And so, we're trying to cut our losses here, if you will. And so I do believe that we're going to pursue some legal action or try to pursue legal action against this company in New Jersey, if they're still in business after the pandemic. But any event, there's a whole file on these things, and I want everybody to know that I feel very satisfied with the repair done on the vehicle, so much that I'll be driving one of these myself for at least a month before I send it to some city to park. And we have 3 of them.
3 vehicles?
Some of our use is to police vehicles and public work vehicles that are on the road constantly on these vehicles each day. Some of the things that other city employees do not require that type of intensity in terms of use. So, that's why I decided that we would just use them for administrative purposes, and believe me, there is a need. There's no question that there's a need.
As just for information purposes, as of November the 10th, we have $120,000 available in the contingency account, so it's more than enough Board of Alderman contingency.
Anybody have any questions with respect to anything that I said?
John, could you please repeat how much we have allocated?
We have $120,000 in the Board of Alderman contingency account.
For
So
repairs?
that's where the money, we're going to make these repairs, that's where it's coming from. So I just wanted you to have the money in the account.
Yeah, through the annual budget, we have a contingency that we set aside for anything and everything that may occur that is not planned for or budgeted for during the course of the year. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Okay, the next item is 9.4, the funding for overruns for the reconstruction of East Village Park courts.
Just before I read the motion, I just want you to know that I'm going to vary the motion as it's prepared in front of you. Add something to it. Move to approve, this is the part I'm adding, approve and add to the capital improvement plan an amount of $5,100 for overruns for reconstruction of the East Village Park courts. LoSiP project number 126-21-030, which was added to the capital improvement plan at the June 10, 2021 Board of Alderman regular full board meeting for a total project cost of $294,395 to come from LoSiP. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made in second and discussion. So this project was bid. It was bid with a certain specification. After the bids came in, Ronnie Herrick, who is the Parks and Recreation Director, and I agreed that some changes should be made to the design of the courts up in pickleball, which is a fast-growing competition throughout the country. The Parks and Recreation Commission agreed with that, and that's the reason for the overrun.
Just for the benefit of the new members, LoSiP is Local Capital Improvement Program. Its money comes from the state. They give us a certain amount every year, like $200,000, that we can spend on projects of this type. And it all has to be done in conjunction with their approval. We spend the money, they approve it, we submit it, they approve it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to Item 9.5 is the funding and expansion of an ADA compliant playground and pavilion for outdoor school.
Move to authorize an amount of $150,000 for the rehabilitation of an ADA compliant playground and pavilion beside school, with funding to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the. Further, authorize Mayor Markey to pay in all documents necessary to effectuate same.
Second. Packet, we provided some of the things, it's really an aerial view. A is also making a contribution of $20,000. We over the years have made a lot of changes to this playground, never to this extent. And so that when I've been meeting with the group of PTA and school officials, particularly the principal, I agreed to do some other things down there that I think make a lot of sense. This project will be more than $170,000, but this gets us started right now. Some of the work will be done in-house through Public Works and through the Parks Department. I don't know to the extent that they'll be able to cut costs, but at a later date. I just want you to know that we will be back probably for more funding to complete this rehabilitation, redesign of the back of Sunnyside School. You can see on the schematic that there is a road that is going to be a driveway, I should put, not a road, school, and that will be for student pickup by parents. The principal has assured me that it will be gated on both ends and it will be locked, and it will only be used for that purpose. So with that said, I agreed to go along with it. As you know, I'm a big believer in that parents should put their kids on these school buses, because most of them come to school, come to the building empty, and a lot of money on. So to my way of thinking, that's the way it should be, but that's not the way it is. You'll see there's a big cul-de-sac in the back there that is just blacktop. There's going to be some changes made to that. There was 2 basketball courts that were put in the 60s down there. They are going to get removed, built in a different area on the playground, and the playground itself is going to be moved closer to the school. Okay, I hope you think this is a good project. I think that it keeps us compliant in this day and age. Parents need something to do, with these kids. Yeah, unlike other schools have a regulation that do not allow people to use the playgrounds during the school hours. I can certainly understand that. So years ago, we did something different up at Riverview Park and put in a playground that was available to the parents. This is one of those sites where the city maintains control of the grounds and back of the school. This will be made available to parents. The school principal there, so it doesn't interfere with particularly the letting off and the picking up of kids.
I have a question, Your Honor. Some schools I know back, but we're going back 20, 30 years now, we something like that. This is going to be installed by the company?
We have we've hired a landscape architect who we're all familiar with, who will be overseeing all the activities there. Also be providing instruction to our personnel that's going to be doing some work on site.
Is there some type of warranty or that?
Oh yeah, all this stuff has a warranty to come through. Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None opposed? Motion carries. For some reason, I have duplicate copies here. And I'm trying not to get confused. If Anthony starts asking too many questions, that could throw me. Okay, 9.6 is funding for the technology for the Holy Trinity School.
Move to authorize an amount of $19,000 for technology for the Holy Trinity School with funding to come from contingency general account. So
Second.
moved.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion.
Looks like this was originally thought to be coming from municipal COVID relief funds. Was that found to be inaccurate?
We decided to shift gears and take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And I'll explain in more detail, or Paul Hillard, I should say, will explain in more detail at our special meeting on Monday.
I just have a question. Is it, just because, it's a parochial school, is this something that happens at a lot of municipalities where they fund the private sector of schools?
I really don't know what other municipalities do. I've never been guided by what they do. I try to stay focused on what I think we need to do.
Okay.
We've done this before, in different capacities. In light of Sandy Hook, we did some security, we took some security measures for that school. Look, there are kids too, regardless of whether they go to a parochial school or not. Their parents live and pay taxes in this city, and I think that we have an obligation to, as possible, just like kids in the public school. So it's not uncommon for us to do things like that. I think it's really, it's a small amount. There's been a big influx into the parochial schools around the state this year because most public schools have been closed. So parents opted to send their kids to parochial schools, and their enrollment is up. So, anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries unanimously. This takes us to item number
9.7.
9.7. This is the amendment to a funding item that we did for the purchase of a Parks and Recreation vehicle.
Move to amend the funding portion of item 9.4, funding for the purchase of Parks and Recreation vehicles resolution passed at the September 9, 2021 meeting from $55,000 to $53,252. So moved.
Second.
A motion is made and seconded. Discussion. We're making this correction so that our accounting records are accurate and reflect what we actually spend. If someone looks at these records at any time in the future, whether it's 10 years from now or 30 years from now, they'll have an accurate number. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The one comment on that, the motion that we passed back on September 9th carried with it connotation that the funding would come from municipal COVID relief funds. Is that still accurate?
It is as we sit here today, and Paul Hiller is verifying that, but I believe he got an okay from Office of Policy and Management at the state. And again, it was not an accurate number because when we appropriated the money, the bid. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion passes unanimously. Expenditure for senior center travel for transportation to and from the center.
Move to authorize the over expenditure of the senior center other compensation / travel account through the end of fiscal year 2021-22. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, for the benefit primarily of the new members, section 7.10, financial procedures, subsection B, authorizes the Board of Aldermen to approve the over expenditure of a department budget. The finance director was certified that there'll be an excess in other department budgets at the end of the fiscal year. And the Board of Aldermen will have to provide an additional appropriation. So otherwise, the board will have to, if he can't certify that, we will have to provide an additional appropriation. So I contacted him just to be sure, and he texted me and told me, certified that we do have enough funds. So it's okay, proceed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion passes. There are no items for legislative new, and at this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So
Second.